Welcome to Bite-Sized L&D, your quick, no-nonsense update on the latest in workplace learning. Today, we'll uncover innovative approaches to reducing burnout through meaningful workplace connections and reveal cutting-edge techniques for fostering empathy in your team. All right, let's get straight into it.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Innovation Pulse, where we explore the latest trends shaping our workplaces and lives. I'm Donna, and as always, I'm joined by my insightful co-host.
That's right, Donna. I'm Yakov, and today we're diving into something that's affecting pretty much everyone in the corporate world right now: burnout. But with an important twist that might change how you think about this entire issue.
Lay it on me, Yakov. I think our listeners are definitely feeling this one.
So here's the thing. We've all heard about burnout as this productivity problem, right? You're working too much. You need better boundaries. Try a digital detox. All that standard advice. But what if burnout isn't primarily about being overworked? What if it's actually a disconnection crisis?
Disconnection? That's interesting, especially when our world is supposedly more connected than ever.
Exactly. That's the paradox. Several experts are now suggesting that what we're experiencing as burnout is actually profound disconnection. From our colleagues, our bodies, even the natural rhythms of our days. One health coach put it really well. She tried all the typical fixes: perfect morning routines, wellness habits, better boundaries, but was still feeling depleted.
Let me guess. Adding more structure and self-care didn't solve the problem?
Not at all. In fact, she realized what she actually needed wasn't more structure. She needed to laugh, to play, to genuinely connect with people. There's this powerful quote from a workplace behavior strategist that says, "It's not just about too much work. It's about not enough recovery, not enough agency, and not enough meaningful interaction."
That hits home. I've definitely had those periods where I'm doing everything right. Meditation, exercise, boundaries, and still feeling completely burnt out. So what's really happening?
According to a clinical psychologist, burnout and loneliness are often treated as separate issues, but they share the same roots: broken relational dynamics at work. He explains that when employees feel unseen or excluded, they don't just burn out, they withdraw.
Which then makes them lonelier, feeding a vicious cycle.
Precisely. And here's where it gets really interesting. Another psychologist made this provocative statement that self-care is a waste of fucking time if you're doing it with your shoulders up. Kind of makes you rethink that company-sponsored yoga class, doesn't it?
Definitely. I've been to those wellness sessions where everyone's checking their phones between poses. Not exactly the deep relaxation they're promising.
Right? And get this, we've apparently never been this disconnected in the history of the free world. That's pretty stark. But I've seen this playing out in the tech sector. Remember that major software company, Brightpath Solutions?
Oh yeah, they were in the news a while back for their burnout crisis, right?
Exactly. They had all these wellness perks, meditation rooms, fitness stipends, mental health days, but employee satisfaction was still plummeting. When they dug deeper, they found that their highly distributed team was working efficiently but barely knew each other as people. Engineers would collaborate for months without a single personal conversation.
So what did they do?
They completely reimagined their workflow. Instead of focusing on more wellness benefits, they created mandatory connection zones in their workday. 30-minute blocks where teams could just talk, no work discussion allowed. They also redesigned their office to create more spontaneous interaction spaces. Within 6 months, burnout reports dropped by 43%.
That's impressive. Makes me think of what's happening in the biotech space too. Wasn't there that company, Helix Innovations, that tried something similar?
Yes, Helix is such a fascinating case. They were losing top talent despite competitive pay and reasonable hours. Their research teams were experiencing high burnout, despite not being overworked by industry standards.
So what was their solution?
Their approach was brilliant. They recognized that their scientists were intellectually stimulated but emotionally isolated. So they paired lab partners based partially on personality compatibility, not just technical skills. They also implemented a practice they called breakthrough celebrations, where teams would stop work to acknowledge both personal and professional milestones. Their retention improved by 38% in just 1 year.
These examples really drive home that connection isn't just a nice to have, it's fundamental to preventing burnout.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond the workplace too. One expert rejects the whole concept of work-life balance, arguing they're not separate things at all.
Makes sense. Your energy at work affects your home life, and vice versa.
Right. And that leads me to some practical advice from the experts. They recommend creating empathy-building opportunities at work, fostering genuine connections with colleagues beyond just work topics, and recognizing what they call micro moments of connection, like waving to your neighbor or asking your barista how their day is going.
I love that. It's not about grand gestures, but those small human moments that make us feel seen.
And here's a big one, putting down our smartphones, creating device-free times, especially at night, helps combat those artificial connections that don't actually fulfill us.
I'm guilty of that morning ritual. Wake up, check emails, scroll Instagram, and somehow feel more depleted than before.
We all do it. But as one expert put it, what people need isn't more content or more to-dos on their list. They need more permission. Permission to pause, to step away, to move, to reset, and ideally, to do it with others.
That's such a powerful reframe. Instead of seeing burnout as a personal failure or a sign you need more discipline, recognizing it as a signal that you need more meaningful connection.
Exactly. And for businesses, it means rethinking those wellness programs. Maybe instead of adding another meditation app subscription, create more opportunities for authentic team connection.
So, what's your takeaway for our listeners, Yakov?
I think it's simple, but profound. Next time you're feeling burnt out, ask yourself, am I disconnected from my colleagues, my friends, my own needs? The solution might not be another productivity hack or self-care routine, but reconnecting with the humans around you.
That's something we can all reflect on. Maybe start small. Have a real conversation with a colleague today. Put your phone away during dinner. Or just look people in the eye when you're ordering your coffee.
And remember, it's not laziness or fragility if you're struggling. It might be a very human response to an increasingly disconnected world.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Innovation Pulse. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, maybe try connecting with someone. It might just be the burnout cure you've been looking for.
See you next time. We've explored how burnout in the corporate world often stems from disconnection rather than overwork, highlighting the success of companies that prioritize meaningful interactions and empathy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and colleagues so they can also stay updated on the latest news and gain powerful insights. Stay tuned for more updates.